get out of the way and turn things over to our incredible Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Secretary?
David, thanks for your work, and delighted to be here with Dr. Webb and Director McCarthy. Really, I'm just here to say thank you. Thank you to the organizations participating in this day of action. We've got the National Wildlife Federation, NRDC, the Environmental Defense Fund, We Act for Environmental Justice, Earth Justice, the Evangelical Environmental Network is here, Young Evangelicals for Climate Action is here, we have the Union of Concerned Scientists, the Center for American Progress, the National Hispanic Medical Association. I believe collectively the groups represented here represent millions of Americans who care about our future. And with transportation accounting for 28% of global greenhouse gas emissions, I think it's abundantly clear that every transportation-related decision is also a climate decision. And we are thankful for your partnership as this administration is working to advance policies that safeguard the future, provide real meaningful climate action while creating jobs, and make our transportation system work better for everyone. I know this is one more week that brings more stark and blunt reminders that climate change is upon us, that it has evolved from a prediction to an observation to an emergency. We see it in the Pacific Northwest, where extreme heat is causing cracks in area roadways, including I-5 that runs through Seattle and Portland, forcing closures and detours. We see in the Portland area's public transit agency, TriMet, have to suspend light rail and streetcar service until Tuesday because of the strain that the heat was putting on the electrical grid and the overhead catenary wires that deliver power to the streetcars. We saw Seattle Sound Transit commuter rail and light rail operators have to reduce speeds on both of those services to reduce the heat on the tracks and to make sure that the power lines remain connected. So these are just more proof points on how we have to move with urgency to fix our transportation infrastructure the right way, making it more resilient to the climate changes that are upon us, and acting to prevent these climate changes from getting any worse and severe than they already have. So it's great to see you as climate activists stepping forward on those issues and stepping forward to help us move closer to solving another great challenge, one that has a lot in common with the climate challenge, because the COVID challenge is also an example of a life-threatening situation where something you cannot see with the naked eye, a coronavirus, just like a carbon particle, winds up having enormous, disruptive, and heartbreaking consequences that we all do see and live and feel. Both examples of where we need to follow the science and where collective action is incredibly important. So you're going to hear more from Director McCarthy in a few minutes, but what I'll say is that we know we're in a race between the vaccines and the variants. And it's quicker and easier than ever to get a vaccine right now. But a lot of folks just haven't gotten to it yet, haven't gotten around to it. Maybe they have questions, maybe they have doubts, maybe they don't think it's for them, maybe they don't think it's necessary. And just that simple bit of outreach could literally make a life or death difference, which is what you all understand in order to be part of this. Helping people get vaccinated, helping us get back to the people we love safely, and supporting the people out there. Yesterday I was in Syracuse at a vaccination center. We got so many folks on the front line, trained up, ready to go. We just need to make sure that we encourage people to go take advantage of that best way to protect themselves and those they love. So thanks to each of you, people with a lot of demands on your time and a lot of important things that are calling on you to make a difference. Thank you for being part of this, for using your voices literally to call on those you care about to do the right thing and to get vaccinated.
Thank you so much for being with us, Secretary Buttigieg. It's my pleasure to now turn it over to Dr. Cameron Webb, Senior Policy Advisor for COVID-19 Equity on the White House COVID-19 response team. Dr. Webb?
Thank you so much, David. It's great to be with you all this evening. I'm going to take a decidedly more clinical perspective on this because in addition to my role in the White House, I still am a practicing physician and lawyer. I work at the University of Virginia. And just today I was working on the wards in my hospital. I work on the coronavirus unit in my hospital, and I'll tell you, there's a big difference between what we saw last April on that coronavirus unit and what we see today. And that difference is that there are fewer people, and those people aren't quite as sick as what we saw before. And the main difference is the vaccines that we started to see going into arms on December 15th. We know the power of these vaccines. So a day of VAXtion, like what you're doing right now, is so timely. It's so important. It's so needed for the patients like the ones who I was taking care of today. The conversations you're going to have this evening, they're going to have a very real impact. If you connect with 1, 2, 5 people, that's 1, 2, or 5 lives that you might save. And I know because I've seen it up close and personal. I've seen 25-year-olds who are struggling to breathe, having never had a medical condition before. I've seen individuals who had no idea that COVID could do the damage that it does. And once they had that diagnosis, they wished they had gotten vaccinated when they had the chance. This isn't me just talking. This is me saying this as a practicing physician on those front lines, working with COVID patients. I can't tell you how important it is to me, to my colleagues who are also on the front lines, and also to my colleagues who are in the White House doing this work, that you all are taking your time, leaning into your networks, mobilizing your communities to get out there and make sure they do their part to help end this pandemic. It's not possible for this pandemic to come to a close if everybody doesn't dig deeper that one additional time, talk to that one additional person, reach that one additional family and say, this is what we must do if we want to get things back to normal. And the fact of the matter is there aren't very many people who are quite as good at advocacy as you all are. And so we're so grateful to have you in this fight with us, so grateful to have your hard work, your dedication, your commitment, and your focus today, both in digital spaces and now on the phones. Thank you for all that you're doing. And from the bottom of my heart, you all are making such a huge difference, and we're grateful for you. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, David.
The host was not allowing me to unmute myself. This is going to be a very quick introduction, so please unmute if she's not already. Our National Climate Advisor, Gina McCarthy. It's hard to mute Gina McCarthy, but apparently we have figured out how to do it. You will hear from her absolutely momentarily.
Here we go. I got it. I got it. Can you hear me?
Yes, the floor is
Yes.
yours, Gina.
No one shuts me up. I don't know who the host is, but they're not going to hang around with me too long if they keep doing this nonsense. But anyways, everybody, I know I'm standing in between you and doing God's work, and I just wanted to thank you for what you're doing. You know, first of all, I know that I feel like I'm back home when I start scanning the folks that are here. It feels really good to be with everybody again. But mostly I just know that us climate people and people who care about environment, you know, down deep, we're just people, right? I mean, we're doing it for the people we care about and the people we love. We always work together. We always organize. And I just think our ability to be able to work as a group with one another has proven to be incredibly powerful forces. And so I just want to thank you for continuing to hang out together, to continue to do good work. I mean, Mayor Pete talked about this a little bit. I should probably say Secretary Mayor Pete or Mayor Secretary Pete. I'm not exactly sure what sequence to say it in. But, you know, he mentioned that, you know, COVID-19 and climate crisis has a lot in common, and he's right. You know, it's all about health. You know, the climate change is all about how we keep one another safe. And I think one of the most powerful messages that we have when we talk to people outside is to remind them that vaccines aren't just about protecting them. They're about protecting your loved ones. And I don't think that we sort of can get these conversations going with people without recognizing that we're dealing with human beings that need to be reminded that it is about all of us. It is about sticking together. It is about working together and caring with one another. And I think it might help them to understand that any reluctance they have, you know, they need to look at the rest of us who have had an ability to run into my 3 little grandchildren and give them the biggest hug of the century when I saw them for the first time and was able to do that without a mask. It changes my, you know, it changed my life. And I think we all know that. And so giving people back that sense of hope and also their own freedom is what I think the vaccination is all about. And so I just have to thank you, because much of the work we do is all grounded in our faith together, our faith in people, our faith that folks are looking after us, our faith in our ability to work together and with one another and care for one another. And I think if you approach these conversations, that it will be a powerful way to connect with people who may be scared or may not have been able to find an ability to get where they needed to go to get the vaccine. And if we help a few, I think we all know that that's what gives us our own energy and our own enthusiasm in our quest to do more. So it's a great thing to see you guys out there. I thank you for everything you're doing. I'm excited about the fact that you're willing to give your time for this, because I know how much you all work. And I really just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, not just for everything you're doing tonight, but for the work you're doing to address climate change and to make sure that we're handing our children a future we can be proud of. But that's what today is all about too, is protecting our kids and our future. So thanks for everything you're doing. It's incredibly meaningful, and I'm wicked, wicked proud of you. I'd actually say, I think you're wicked pisser, but someone might take that the wrong way if they don't know I'm from Boston. But you are wicked pisser. Thank you.
Thank you, Gina.